The Bluey television special is a ratings juggernaut for Disney Plus, and it sounds like Walt Disney World might finally be in negotiations to get Bluey into the Magic Kingdom, or maybe somewhere else. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Okay, gentlemen, wait, that's the bye one. I meant to say the hello ones. Aloha, gentlemen.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Welcome.
Aloha, that's what they say.
Welcome to That Park Place, guys. Let's talk about this article out of Deadline with a little bit of additional information here. Bluey captivates audiences on Disney Plus with record debut for The Sign. This by Kate Campione of Deadline. And I did see The Sign. Bluey Mania continues. The series' first special, titled The Sign, made its Disney Plus debut on April 14th. After 7 days of viewing, the episode drove 10.4 million views globally, according to the streamer. In fact, the company says that the largest 7-day premiere for an audience of any Disney Junior episode, well, that's not saying much, and any episode of Bluey ever on Disney Plus. Disney Plus rarely releases viewership figures, and this is the first time the streamer has done so for Bluey. However, the company did reveal Monday that it is consistently among the top 5 series on Disney Plus by monthly views. Does anyone want to point out why that's humorous?
Because Disney has spent what $60 billion on content for the streamer so far, something absurd amount, and none of the original programming does anywhere close to the amount that Bluey does.
Yes, it is. Disney does not make Bluey. They rent it from BBC Studios, who rents it from the Australian Broadcasting Company, who, of course, rents it from Ludo Studios. The other aspect of this is Bluey is clearly the top program on Disney Plus by a wide margin. It is by, of course, we often cite the statistic that was put in Bloomberg. Circana says that Bluey represents 30% of all streaming. All television streaming on Disney Plus. And just in case you are doubting this by saying, "Oh, it might be movies." No, movies. People only watch movies one time. Some kids watch movies on repeat, but no. Bluey, all day, every day, 30% of every view on Disney Plus is someone watching Bluey. So let's move on. This is expected considering the huge numbers that Bluey generates on the Nielsen streaming charts. There you go. It's usually in the top 3, by the way, of all things on Nielsen. Just last month, Bluey had another billion-minute week, this time attracting 1.047 billion minutes during the week of March 18th to the 24th, which is the 13th consecutive week with 1 billion plus viewing minutes for the series. That is amazing that this preschool show, which is written for small children and, of course, their families, because anything that is this large attracts a 4-quadrant audience. It is amazing that they are a ratings juggernaut week after week, the biggest show in streaming. And it is on one of the least watched streaming services out there. Guys, did you watch this show? Do you guys, are you Bluey fans? Have you accepted Bluey into your hearts yet?
Every time you ask me this question, Jonas, I have to say no, I have not. I don't even have time to watch anything I want to watch, much less Bluey. Not to say that I don't want to watch it eventually, but it's just I got to make time, and unfortunately,
it's a little joke on my part, because it is an excellently written and executed series. They use a lot of classical music. It's obviously traditional. It's a traditional nuclear family, which you don't see a lot of that on television these days. It's funny. Yeah. There's a lot of imagination play, so there's that childhood wonder and sense of innocence that you used to get from Pixar films, and then of course you have the adults saying things that add this layer on top of it that either the kids aren't picking up on in any way, or they also like it. Culture, what about you?
Well, in passing, I have seen the show, but I was not surprised to read in a recent AP article that the adults really love Bluey.
Well, and I wonder if that's just that it's a breath of fresh air after Coco Melon drives them all insane with using the same 1,000-year-old nursery rhymes and just playing them over karaoke tracks, or if it's because these things speak deeper truths about the nature of life and family and generational knowledge here. But let's not get too far into our own heads. Let's talk about theme park rights. Vash, I do believe you have a story to contribute.
I do. Let me go ahead and share my screen right about here, right there. In this Deadline article that, by the way, Lorena shared with us, actually during our Extra Magic Hours live stream. Interestingly enough, we just didn't have this segment to slot this in here. Although, here we go, Bluey creator Joe Brum on making a TV juggernaut not compromising his vision and the Healer family's future. This is Jesse Whitlock here providing this article on April 10th. However, if you scroll down, you have to scroll down quite a bit in order to find it here. Let me see if I can speed up this process. Oh, here we go. We hear from the Mouse House that they've spoken with the BBC and Ludo Studio to explore whether the brand can expand into theme parks for their TV seasons and or feature films, but that there is no offer on the table to any of the parties involved. It looks like they are exploring the idea, at least, of bringing this into the theme park space, which is pretty cool, although I wouldn't necessarily get your hopes up on anything substantial, because this is a property that Disney necessarily doesn't own outright. I can see this maybe becoming like you remember those scavenger hunt games, culture and World Showcase?
I do.
They had like Kim Possible and then Age of Keys and then DuckTales. I could see including or incorporating a franchise like Bluey in that way, in kind of smaller segments around the parks. But if you're looking for an actual like substantial attraction or maybe even a themed land, I wouldn't get your hopes up just yet. However, it does look like they're at least exploring some talks surrounding it.
Well, of course, we do know because of Bloomberg, that same Bloomberg article, we're going to reference it twice here, that that BBC Studios did have the merchandising rights on the table for Disney, and of course the theme park rights along with it to Disney. And Disney said, no, we'll pass. We're going to be focusing on our own in-house IP at that point. So it would have been, they probably could have got them for a song, and not even a Disney branded song.
The article does say right here, a deal wouldn't be cheap. The brand's value has ballooned, with estimates now at around $2 billion as L&M sales boom. So apparently they had a chance to get this for a song and dance, like you said, Jonas. But as you adequately so pointed out, those days have long gone by, and now Disney will have to shell out big money if they want to secure some of these rights for themselves.
Now, we did, of course, on that live stream, briefly mention the fact that there is a Bluey-themed attraction that is coming to Brisbane over there, Queensland, Australia. And it looks like it's a small event, maybe one house size thing, not a theme park, but a themed area. That's the kind of thing I like that idea. It's something small. Sounds a little Chuck E. Cheesy. For those of you who are in Australia, you can go look on the internet for Chuck E. Cheese. Stay away from Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a different idea entirely if you don't know what Chuck E. Cheese is. Or perhaps Showbiz Pizza. Also, stay away from the Five Nights at Freddy's. That's not what we're talking about here. Those would be an appropriate thing to put in a few locations around the United States. I actually worry that the Disney company if they had to spend $2 billion on the theme park rights, they would feel like they need to spend $1 billion building some kind of ridiculous land for it. And that's not what you need to do with Bluey. Bluey is about normal life, and you don't need they didn't even need to do it for Star Wars the way they did Star Wars. They spent $1 billion on each Galaxy's Edge that they've built so far. I don't think that this is actually right for the Disney parks to do something large, maybe like one ride. I don't know, what are you guys thinking?
Well, I mean, I'm of two minds. I like what Vash was suggesting, in as much as they do a scavenger hunt, a thing like they've done at Camp Explorer or whatever in California's Adventures at Disneyland, or the scavenger hunts they used to have at Animal Kingdom. I think they could certainly lean into that. But if they were going to build an attraction, I think a singular attraction with kind of a TARDIS idea where it's bigger on the inside, you enter the house and then you go in and you explore a day with the healers. And then, I think that could work, kind of maybe a little bit closer to the concept of what they were going to do with what was
what I think of when you talk about that is the animation courtyard, which is now, of course, the Star Wars launch bay. Or is it the animation courtyard? Because that area is also where they have all the Disney Junior meet and greets. And then they have a show that is like the Disney Junior dance party or something like that.
Yeah.
To me, $2 billion in order to do something like that, I don't think that's a good idea for the Walt Disney Company. I also don't want to see Bluey more closely associated with Disney Plus. I'll just flat out say it. Bluey is a large enough property that they have achieved exit velocity. It doesn't matter that they're on Disney Plus because they have such a widely recognized product. They are a platform all to themselves. Wherever it is, I think people will go at this point. Don't go making your own app on your own website and that being the only place to get Bluey, though. That would be a mistake. I don't want this in a Disney park because I don't think Disney would do it right. Obviously, Disney has in the past tried to put Bluey in their parks. We're not sure who did that and who did not get approval from upper management. That I have the chance to play one of my favorite clips here.
He doesn't have the rights.
Quite.
Yeah, that thing got taken down really quick before it had a chance to premiere at Fort Wilderness. Disney does not have the rights to do this. I don't think they can spend the amount of money that it would take to do it, and I'm kind of glad for that. Do we have anything else that we need to say here before we wrap this up?
No, I think Disney, I think they're pursuing something. Not sure if it's in the form of a theme park attraction or a feature film or even extended rights when it comes to broadcasting rights for Disney Plus. They're pursuing something with Bluey. They have to be because they're touting them as much as they are. What that ends up being, will it be actually $2 billion? I don't think so. Maybe a long-term licensing deal for the parks. That could be a possibility, and an inclusion that's less substantive, let's say, than Star Wars Galaxy's Edge or Avatar or something like that. Like Culture said, maybe a single attraction, maybe the inclusion of Bluey in some parade or something like that. Scavenger hunt, like I was saying before, but that's about where this thing will probably balloon out to use nomenclature before.
Just to be the contrarian, though, Disney spent $60 billion over the course of 2 years on content. Buying Bluey for $2 billion wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I mean,
yes, you're right.
on top of the $50 billion in outstanding debt they currently possess, what's another $2 billion?
Well, yes. As long as we're burning money, might as well do that. But now that people are keeping track, as Valiant Renegade and WDW Pro and Culture, you guys have done such a good job of tracking everything that's going on with the business side of the Walt Disney Company. I don't think they can get away with that in the way that they used to. Of course, is that $2 billion is also for licensing and merchandising, not for the entire property here. And there's always a question here: do you want the cow or do you want the milk? Or do you want the cow because it makes the milk? It's only to substitute another cow as soon as possible, as Disney would try to do. Of course, with that being said, we want to throw this to our commenters. If there was a Bluey attraction, what would you want it to be, and what park would you want it to be at? Whether that's Disney, Universal, or something yet to be determined. Let us know in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.